Hey, hello, folks. We're going to be doing our live draw today. And as promised, we are going to be working on a page that we currently already have in production for Voodoo Nations, issue 1. And so all right. So, how about just a little bit of branding? How does that sound, huh? Okay, we're back. If there's anybody that might want to jump in, I don't know if Travis is watching today, if he's available. If you might want to jump in and help with comments and moving the conversation along as I draw, that would be really, really cool if you're available. If you're not, that's fine. So, today we're going to be working on a page of Voodoo Nations. And so I'm not quite sure which page I want to work on yet. So I have 3 or 4 of them up here that I can easily start to work on. This one has a lot of action in it. And this one, not so exciting. I think I'm going to pop that one out. This one is kind of a neat page and might be the easiest one to knock out, to be honest with you, when it comes to speed. But we don't have to do the whole page today. We can do a part of a page, like we can pencil it today, and then we'll ink it another day. We'll do it next week, and so that way we can kind of keep it there. I like this because it has a pretty expressive face there. And I like this one because this is kind of a neat introduction to Bishop Lucas. And so that's pretty neat. So we'll decide which one of those we want to go with. And give me a second here. And feel free to leave a comment or make a comment if you have any questions, and we'll get started. And so I'll just kind of walk through the process here. So in order for me to keep my process, my speed up, I use layouts. I have a guy named Brian Dawson who actually does all the layout stuff for me, and he does an amazing job with those. And maybe, which view do you guys like better? That one or probably that one? That's probably the one you want to see. And so I actually use, I pay him to kind of give me this scratched up kind of view here. And so let me get my pencil size the way I want. And then you can see, this is going to be a problem. This is going to be a real problem. Yeah. So as you can see, we've actually got, so it works out this way to where we've got a bunch of different, he kind of scratches out what the page is going to look like. And so we've done that. And actually, I think I'll work with this one here because I like this. I like the way this one looks. I think it's more exciting for today. And so what I've done is he gives me this file that is kind of these, just kind of this rough layout. Now he does a little cleaner of a layout than some of the guys that do layouts for me. He's not the only one I use, but he's probably my favorite artist for using this stuff. And so I'll kind of show you that process. Then I create a blue line, and so I make it blue line, and then I create a new layer, and then on that layer is where I actually start to do all of my work. And so I'll go in here and I will just, dang it. And I'll just start to work in here. And so these two panels are the same, and I don't remember why they are the same because I haven't looked at the script in a while. So I may have to pull that up. Or if Travis pops in, then maybe he can explain to me why that is the way that is. But I'll start up here with kind of this. And so I get this kind of layout here. And I don't, so I'll just go ahead and I'll start in on this. So he did a lot of detail in the face, but unfortunately, I don't really need most of that detail because his face geometry is just a little bit different than what he provided me. And so I'm going to just start drawing that in a little bit different. That face geometry is just a little bit different. So I'm going to fix that so it fits more in line with what how I typically draw him. So you get an idea of how how that works. Feel free to comment. Let me know that you're here today while I'm drawing. Feel free to leave a comment, ask any questions that you may have. A little bit of trouble with my drivers here. So it will wind up being a little bit of frustration, but we'll manage. I like this. This is well done over here, I think. Hilton? My dog? No, my dog has not helped me draw today. No, she's in the other room. She sometimes is, but not today. I think she's sleeping on her bed right now. I like all of that in there. This will work. Brian comes up with these really cool, like, neat shapes for all of this stuff, and I like it a lot. So I follow a lot of it very closely, at times. So it works out really well for me because I don't have to try to make all these choices. I can get busy drawing. Yeah, she's not here today. Well, she is somewhere in the house. Like I said, she's sleeping. And there's no mailman or neighbors or anything. Yeah, Amy, it is. It's warming up here. It's we're gonna have a lot warmer next week than what we are right now. But yeah, I heard it's like in the 80s up in Indiana. We do not have that particular. Well, it's 80-ish here. It's not upper 80s, but it's 80-ish right now. So. And so Brian draws like these bigger eyes like this, but that's not how I want to draw this face. Sometimes I'll draw a face like that, but I want to make his eyes a little more kind of like that. And then he has this smaller cricked nose. So you actually get more of his his smile. And that smile is kind of creepy. So just fixing up some of this here. I want to give a weird expression on his face because he is up to no good. He's always up to no good. Yep, that's pretty good. I'm just going to lock in on some of these. What about that here? don't like the pants like that. I want the skinny pants. So just some of the stuff that I fix when I do this. Good afternoon, Rick. So Travis has not popped in, or he's not in the chat. Trying to remember why these two frames are identical. I can't remember. I think here I will make the eyes a little bigger and wider, kind of how Brian has put them in here. He might. I'm not sure why we're doing that, but I don't recall. He's got. So again, today, I don't know that I'm going to get all the inks done, but what I'll do is I will work on a solid pencil today, and then we will work on inks on the next go round. And so this will actually be a kind of a two-parter. Okay, since these are both the same, I'm going to do kind of what Brian did and just get myself a look at that. You want to look? I missed a couple here. Scott, my brother, says good. Thanks, brother. I'm trying my best to do a good job. So I'm going to go ahead and move that there since these were pretty much the same panel. Not exactly sure why yet, but I want to. I'll do a couple of changes in the tighter pencil but I'm going to use the base kind of area here. Can you download this, Thomas? Probably not. This is live, and it will be available on for playback on YouTube later. Okay, well, so that's what I do for my first pencil. From the layout that I get, I kind of do a little messing about, kind of tighten things up and look at like where I want to put things. And then I just do this. I add another blue line layer so that I can start to refine this a little bit further. And then, so we'll just go up here to the top panel and we will work our way down. And so I may need to do a more refined pencil later, or this one might actually be a really good pencil at the end, by the end of this take. Yeah, feel free to ask questions, or if anyone wants to hop in and chat, just let me know. I'll send you the link and you can join me on StreamYard for this. Oh, here comes Travis.
Hey,
how's it going?
It's going. I actually have a lot going on today, so I won't be staying super long, but I'm staying a while because I'm excited to see this whole process. I mean, everyone should be, right?
Well, I would think so.
Right. So let me share this out, and I'm also going to try to boost the post. Where's the source from? Just out of curiosity.
The source?
Yeah, where did it start? Luke Stone Studios?
No, it's on my YouTube, and it's on my regular Facebook.
Okay. All right. I wonder if I can boost somebody else's post. Let me see. So how are you today? I see that we have lots of people being excited already.
We do. I'm pretty good. I'm happy to be drawing at the moment. Yeah. It's kind of been one of those weird days with a lot of twists and turns already, and it is a Wednesday. That's a Thursday. It's a Thursday. My gosh, I almost lost a whole day there.
It's crazy. I know people are seeing you, but I do not see it on your Facebook. That is crazy.
Yeah, it's on my regular Facebook. I don't believe it's on Luke Stone Studios. No, it's on my regular.
Hold on. Because I want to share it out. Twists and turns already. What do we got going on? What's twisting and turning?
Well,
or can you not share?
Can't really share.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk. So what page are you doing right now?
It looks like I'm doing page 13.
Oh, cool. Cool.
I did have a question. So down here on page 13, all the way down here, these two panels are the exact same. And why? I can't remember why.
I have to look at the script.
Check. I haven't looked at the script for a minute, so I want to know if there's any nuances that I need to add in and change there.
You know, my original vision was and I put in there, if possible, like him upside down being creepy.
Yeah.
But I know that's really hard to draw, not because of advanced, just because it's really hard to make that look good. I know it looks good in the movies, but it's really hard to look good in comics. I've seen tons of people try it and haven't been able to pull it off. You know, that kind of upside down thing that, like, you know, it did and all those other.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't have CG, so it's really hard to do. All right, page 13. So in the one panel, they aren't the same. Let me look at what you get. Scroll down to it again. You see, he didn't really do a great job. So there's supposed to be fire in his eyes. Maybe he left it for the coloring, and left.
I will draw that. Oh, I lost you. No. Mm-hmm. Well, we'll wait for him to come back while I continue to draw this first panel. And he's back.
So in one, he's got like his glowing eyes that we do, and then sometimes we don't show him the glowing eyes, just the black.
Yeah.
That's the difference between the two panels.
Oh, so that's the difference. Okay. Yeah. So we're going from, but basically everything else in that pose should be the same.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, you could change it a little bit because of second things, but basically the fire has gone out of his eyes.
In the second one?
In the second one, yeah, the last panel.
Okay.
You know. But I think, I mean, with this scene too, you could even add spirits like behind him, and then they disappear, you know?
Okay.
Kind of floating in the area. You're just going to have to be consistent and make sure that you go that. But that's probably something you want to look at the end.
Yeah. I love the shapes that, like for like some of these things like this that Brian starts me out with. It makes it easy to get creative.
Yeah. So now back to finding this thing. Maybe I'll just share the YouTube, but then we can't read the comments, right? YouTube, like.
Oh, I can still read the comments. Yeah. Yeah, the comments are still in there.
All right, let me find the YouTube. We need more YouTube subscribers anyway, don't we?
Yeah, YouTube's better for just about all of it. So my daughter uses the same Google account that I do for
for YouTube, and it's really funny what it thinks that I'm into when it tries to suggest things. He's
yeah,
like,
that's.
to unboxing.
I run into a similar situation with. So Beth and Corey use my YouTube account on our Apple TV, and so I was wondering, why am I getting so many like Unis Honest, like all these different like YouTubers and stuff that I'm not into.
Right.
I did a little work on the face structure because he draws him just a little bit different than I do in some of the panels, and so I wanted to be more consistent with.
So, random, unrelated question, kind of, since we're here. I just got my Red Talon comic. Did David only do one page?
Did who?
David Jackson.
No, he did a few pages actually.
Okay. They look very similar. So
yes, so yeah, Brian actually tried to mimic the style as much as he could.
Okay, because you could barely tell the difference. I mean, you could tell on the first two pages. After that, I'm like,
yeah, and then he adjusted his style, like it started becoming more Brian Dawson.
Right.
After that.
I read it today.
Yeah.
It was okay. Lots of origins, lots of stuff.
Lots of origins in that one, yeah.
So either good nor bad, it's just a thing. Is what it is. So we're chucking right along on getting this out. I think everybody's going to be pleasantly surprised when they see the book. And if anybody has any questions about Voodoo Nations and what we're doing, please ask us. We'd love to hear you.
Yeah. Rick says I've got my Bishop Lucas drawing up on my wall over my writing desk. Can't wait for this comic, dude. I can't wait for the comic.
Oh, thanks, Rick. That's awesome.
You can see the comments, can't you?
I can. Yeah. Will it probably just stream this lesson? So, I mean, you can watch this lesson at any time because it's on his YouTube channel. You can't really download it, but I mean, you can if you have a bootleg download thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Luke's not going to come after you to sue you. I mean, I guess I don't think.
Not today.
Right. When you put it on, when you make a DVD called Luke Stone's Drawing Tips, that he'll sue you.
Yeah. If you're making money off of it, then I might be like, hey, share the wealth because I'm broke. But no, you should be able to get to it anytime you would like on YouTube. So if you go to my YouTube, it's look up Luke Stone Studios or go to youtube.com/the Lou LUEDAWG Lou Dog. I don't know why I did that, but it's there now forever.
So this scene is the first time we see him do some of his voodoo magic. He is summoning a god to get some advice, and it's kind of an interesting scene because you don't really know what he's doing, which is on purpose.
But now you do know what he's doing because Travis told you.
If you Google some of the videos, so when we started this project, I sent Luke a whole bunch of voodoo stuff. I'm sure his congregation was big fans.
If they saw my search history, they're like, "What is going on, Pastor?"
Well, you shared that in another live stream too. Some of the things that you're doing, right?
Yeah.
like some of the things for angel poses and women poses, like.
Yeah, I've got to be very careful about my search histories. Like when I first started drawing, it was funny because I was trying to draw strongman, and I would get a bunch of these bodybuilder magazines, and I'm sure my dad was really really concerned.
But sorry, I'm eating at the same time. So he's talking to a god named Eastq and asking him for some insight on the current situation that is happening in his area. And this is before he gets the cross on his forehead.
Yes.
I was thinking about that too. When I was looking at our backup story, it's kind of funny to see him without the cross on his head, but we definitely need the distinction of timeline when this happened,
So you notice I just erased some teeth, and here's why. Because he is spitting fluid between the gaps in his teeth, and I didn't do that right. So I need to put his scraggly teeth back in the...
Well, and I don't think Brian on his layouts put scraggly teeth, right?
He did not. He did not. And he put his mouth further down and didn't give him enough chin on the bottom.
Right.
But that's not a problem, because really I'm looking for layouts. I'm not looking for a set of pencils.
Right.
But he has enough understanding of the character to kind of put in there what would look cool. And so he does a great job. I love using Brian. I've used a couple guys for layouts, but I love Brian's sense of awareness in space better than other people's.
Right.
I feel like it most closely resembles my own choices if I were to do them myself.
Right. Yeah. The only difference between you, I think he could copy your style completely. You guys do faces a little different. That's the biggest tell between the two. When Brian's doing his own faces versus yours, your faces are different, but your bodies and the flow of your bodies are very, very similar.
Yeah. Some of the faces are pretty similar. Like there's some similarities to it, but yeah, it's in the eyes. The eyes are the difference.
Right.
Yeah. Which there's been times where he's done like a face layout for me, and I'm like, I like it so much, I'm just going to use it. I'm just going to use his pencil. So he gets a penciler credit in most of my books.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never had a layout credit, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a little while now. 4 of the 5 issues of hybrids are all have layout credits in them.
I saw that when I was looking through your credits. And I think I really like Brian's. I wonder if someone would be offensive if I was like, all right, I want to hire you as an artist. Here's Brian's layouts.
I don't know. But I like his work so much that's something I'm willing to do is to make, to say, hey, I want your art, but I want his layouts, because he's just he's so dynamic with his panel arrangement and stuff like that.
Actually, I got to share this in the Voodoo Nations. Rick, I see your question. I'll get to it in just a second. I want to make sure that we share this out to everybody. And if you haven't seen Rick, we shared out one of the pages today, a full page. I think this is the first page we've shown in its entirety.
This page is the one that you just did.
What's up?
What, the one that you sent something out today?
Yeah. I shared the latest one that Brian did.
Is that the one with the
girl?
The
woman. Yeah. I think it's a good page to show the full page and not just a panel from.
Yes.
I think you got to see the whole thing to understand what's going on. I don't like to share full pages. I like to share parts of pages. It's weird because for people who are going to follow along for Voodoo Nations, there's only a few pages. Like there's the 6 or so pages in the beginning, and some pages like the page that he's doing now and a few others. But like the back end of the book, we can't share at all because it spoils the plot.
Yeah.
So there's like there's only like probably 10 or so, 10, maybe 12 pages that we can share out of the 24-page book.
Yes.
Ooh, if you do a Luke Stone comic search, the first thing that comes up, by the way, is Luke Stone addresses his artist of being called Traced.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
So Rick, I will get to your question in just a second. Just want everyone who follows Voodoo Nation to know about this really cool page draw.
And I was telling him earlier, I'll probably just get the pencils done today, because the inks are going to take forever.
Right.
So I'm trying to do a really tight pencil for today.
Right.
And today's show might just be a little shorter because I may not need 2 hours to pencil.
Right. All right. So, Rick, what brought the idea for the story? Okay. So, a gentleman had hired me to write a voodoo script. It's actually the second time in my life I've been asked to do a voodoo script. I was asked in college as well when I was doing film. But he asked me to do a voodoo script, and he gave me a synopsis. Basically, I don't want to spoil his story too much, but it's more of a serial killer. So someone who possesses somebody and they become a serial killer. And during that, I came up with this idea. His was set in one country. It was set in Haiti, and it was all set in one place. So I had written out what I would do with a voodoo story at the same time. And then even before I did this with Luke, or pitched it to Luke, I asked him if I could do a voodoo story, and I told him what I wanted to do. I sent him my synopsis. I was like, I didn't take any of your story, right? And he's like, no. Like, okay. But I had this idea for missionaries and unique missionaries traveling throughout the world and seeing what voodoo's like. If you've ever watched like Finger of God or Children of Men, not Children of Men, Children of God, there's a couple of basically Christian movies where they kind of travel to different nations and see what God's doing in that nation. And a couple of them tackle voodoo, and I always found it very fascinating. So that's what we're kind of doing. This, though, and like I've said many a times, this is a Christian book, but you're definitely not going to feel that it's a Christian book. You will in the first issue because we're very a little heavy-handed in it, but not preachy heavy-handed, just plot-wise. It happens around Easter and Resurrection and Lent, so you're going to see a lot of Christian stuff. But after that, you're not going to see any of that stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna take a really dark turn for a little while before it starts to double back around.
Yeah. I mean, we're pretty far into the production now. We're definitely going to be finished by July 1st. In fact, I'm waiting for Jerome to finish up some covers designs that I'm actually going to start working on designing the Kickstarter now, just because Luke and I are going to have to talk about it and do some stuff. So I'm going to start designing it now just to start on that process. So whenever we want to do it, we can just hit go. We're still waiting on some. We're going to get some alt covers done, and some stores have expressed interest. So we'll wait until we get some previews out and see what we can do. Well, but yeah, that's really cool. I'm halfway. I'm finished issue 2, but I have not sent it to Luke yet. So Luke hasn't read it yet because there's something not right about it that I haven't figured out yet. So when I figure that out, I will send it to Luke. Issue 2 is way harder than issue 1. Would you agree? Oh, Luke's in his zone.
I am in his zone. Yeah, that happens sometimes. I'm thinking about what's going on in Luke's head right now, so I'm trying to get the expression right.
So, Rick, did that answer your question?
Yeah, and I'm trying to give them a really cool pencil since they're only getting a pencil today.
Right. And again, anybody has any questions, please let us know. hang out with us, have some fun. We'll talk about the comic and the comic making process. So for this particular project, it's unique for me. We've got a layout guy. We got Brian Dawson, who is a great artist in his own right. Very, very talented. He does the layouts. So we've had the layouts for a while. Luke has been doing the pages. Some weeks he'll give us 3, some 2. It depends on what's going on. He's a pastor, and things are starting opening up, so things are getting busy for him. As well as he made a call for submissions, so things are busy on that end. But even while he's doing that, I'm still doing marketing. I'm doing a lot of pushing to get this out. We're hiring variant artists. So we're doing all sorts of things. We're getting some pinups from people. So really, really, really cool stuff. That, by the way, that guy who did the pinup yesterday, the pinup that we saw, he's doing a video. He asked me some questions, and that video is going to come up later in the week.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I do have a few things going on right now. I'm finishing up some lettering jobs this week. Those will be the last bit of lettering that I do for this year, and maybe forever. Maybe forever.
I'm gonna guess not forever, but
it might be the last commission I take for lettering.
And I know someone just got you for coloring, so you got to do that.
Yep, I do. I'm going to be, we got the deposit on that one, so I've actually started working a little bit with that. I'm going to be, I decided I'm going to work with a flatter, so I need to get the files over there to the flatter so that they can get that done for me.
So Rick, yes. So is the heroes patterned over everybody? The heroes are real people. So they're patterned after friends of mine. They have different personalities that are kind of friends of mine. The RJ, he's a very, very punk rock guy. He's he's definitely someone who wants to be seen. He wants to be special. So, he's always into the latest trends, whether it be straight edge or vegan or whatever. He's like he wants to be so individualized that he becomes not individualized. I think everybody knows somebody like that.
Unfortunately.
And then RJ is loosely based off my wife. My wife's really tough as nails, and she fights for things pretty passionately. And a little bit of myself. A lot of this story deals with how you deal with death and how you handle the death and your faith during that. And I lost my faith temporarily when my dad died. I wouldn't say I lost my faith. Like, I still knew God had a plan, but I was very angry and did not want to have a relationship. And that's kind of where the cusp of her comes from. But she also has a lot of passion, a lot of things. She's the main character. RJ is the main character. She's a former pastor's daughter, so she's got some of those roots in her, but she's got the bad roots of that. Like, I want to be so different because I'm a pastor's daughter, even though she's a pastor herself. Because that's ironic. And if you've ever met a pastor's daughter, you'll notice you see a lot of that. I don't want anything to do with the way things are run, and then you're the worship leader.
Yes.
Because apparently being a worship leader doesn't hold accountability. So, yeah,
yes, it does.
She doesn't have it. Go ahead.
Yeah, it does hold accountability.
Right, but that's what I think people think. They can hide worship leading.
Yeah. There's any spot in ministry, there's no hiding. I wish it were that case, but yeah.
So yeah, they're a little bit different. But Rick, you'll be really excited when you see. This is another spoiler, so if you don't want to hear a spoiler, cover your ears right now. There will be other voodoo priests that we're going to introduce in this series, And those are more based off of comic characters. There's actually 2 in the next issue.
Question is, how much will they get to see Bishop Lucas?
In next issue?
Yeah.
Well, Bishop Lucas is in every issue.
Bishop Lucas. I have to be careful when I'm drawing him because I just had my hand over his face, and when I move my hand, he give me the creeps. That's how I know I've done that's like, okay, this is all right. We're getting that right.
So screen time for Bishop Lucas in issue 2, I think it's like 5 or 6 pages. So you don't see him that much in issue 2. You'll see him a little bit more in issue 3, and then issue 4, he's in the whole thing.
He's a freaking creepy dude. Just like I just try to think of the most evil person that I know and draw that.
Well, and what's interesting about him, Rick, is we've sent this script out to some people because and this is a feedback for you guys. If you really want to get better at this, don't be afraid to send your stuff out. Some people, when someone tells me I don't want to send my stuff out because I don't want you to see it because you'll steal it or whatever the case is, all I hear when someone says that is fear. I hear that they're afraid that their stuff isn't good enough. So we've sent it out, and a couple people have read it, and some people are going to be very interested. We're really shocked about how nice Bishop Lucas is, even though he's very, very evil.
Yeah.
He's a very layered character.
Yeah, I think I want that black down.
Yeah, Rick, I think you'll really like him. He's very, very layered. He's a very, very layered character. He's when I write a villain, especially the main villain, he's got to be like Magneto. He's got to be like Dr. Doom. He's got to have those multiple layers that make him unique, that make him not just, I need to destroy the world. So, Ian, they also have to have good values. So Bishop Lucas, he believes fully that he is the one who can take care of his people, and nobody else can take care of his people. And when somebody else comes in and tries to take care of the people, like the missionaries, we'll see what happens.
He's very much a pastor to his people.
Yeah, very much, very much.
Just on the different side of things.
Right. But the big thing is motivation is very, very different. But Lucas's motivation for doing things.
Yes, his motivation is not the same as a pastor's.
Right. And his views on what also makes him tick is his views on Christianity, and how he feels specifically about Christianity is very, very different.
He hates it.
So, and he has good reason to hate it. You'll have to wait to see the thing, but he has very good reason to hate Christianity. Like millions and millions of people in America that have come up in front of Christianity and not God.
Yes,
they are different. They are very, very different.
Yeah, not all churches represent Christ the way that the way that he is represented in Scripture, and I think we see that. I think that a lot of people. So, as a pastor, one of the things that I have dealt with is that there are a lot of people that leave the church, and one of their most how do I put this? The reason why most of them, like as I've surveyed them, the reason why they are not in church, it's not because they have come to some new realization or something that God doesn't exist or things like that. They leave the church and they don't believe in God based on their experience with other Christians and believers.
Sure.
And so hopefully, and I mean, I'm not writing this, but hopefully that bit is, from what I have read so far, will be challenged in people that are of faith as they read this, that they can be.
Yeah. I'm super. What makes this really exciting, specifically Rick or anybody watching this, is we're not, though we're telling a religious story, we also have a lot of other elements in here. Someone's going to pick this up and they're never going to know that some of the religious stuff is so hidden. You're not going to know it's there until we tell you about it later on. And we're thinking about having a guide. Not sure if we'll land on this, but having a guide at the end of the whole series and saying, here's scriptural truths that we put in there that you didn't realize.
I think that would be fun for people that, maybe,
even if we don't put it in the book, maybe put it in as, hey, if you are, if you didn't read this for entertainment value and you want to know more, here's this. Here's your guide,
Yeah. Might make it a part or something available with the trade.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to force this book is not to force religion down anybody's throat, because the stuff it's for entertainment. That's what it's for. But that doesn't mean we can't do both.
Exactly.
And I'm known, Rick. I know you know Luke, but I'm actually known for doing things that are very vulgar. My writing that I'm most known for is like Pulp Fiction. Lots of guns, lots of violence, lots of F words.
I was a little surprised when you told me that you were in the ministry. I was like, what?
Yeah. I don't, there's things that I won't do, there's things that I won't glorify and stuff like that, but I like to write crime. I'm interested in crime. And there is a redemption story and everything I write, because, it feeds through, but you got to get to it, and the crime one's going to be a little bit further to get there. Man, those pencils look good. That looks good.
Thank you.
This is when you went through was this is probably one of, you only probably had a couple of options that you could do.
I had a couple that I was looking. I was kind of looking at this one too, and then that one.
Okay.
But I settled on this one.
Okay.
It just looked fun to draw, and it's far enough in so that, because I try to draw sequentially.
Right.
It's funny. I draw my sequential work sequentially.
Right.
But yeah, I try to stick to a being in order, and so I know by next week I will be ready for the inks for this one.
Right. Sure. Oh yeah, I'm looking at the original lettering. No, I'm looking at the original art, and this one's very, very different.
What, for the layout?
The layout, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think, and it's not that I, don't say, I think that to Brian's credit, he did so well in those first couple of pages. You didn't really need to do much.
No.
But when you got to this one, and actually the first couple of pages you did the layouts for. So we actually.
Yep. Yeah. Well, but that's the thing. That's the relationship. Like, Brian knows where I'm going to go with it, but you know, and I don't want him to not try to, to not draw like him. Like, some of the stuff that he does, like some of the pencils, I love. Like, so I will, like, some of the stuff he did down here. I'm just basically I'm going to use that as the pencil.
Right.
But Bishop Lucas is so the way that I draw him, I try to be very mindful of that,
right,
and how he looks to the reader, to the people that are going to be getting the books. That I try to. There's almost a sinister thing in his eyes that I want to capture. And so I could follow what someone else does as far as a layout goes, but I think it's going to miss the sinister aspect of what I'm trying to do. Well, I like this idea.
And he Brian Dawson has these really cool sunken eyes with Bishop Lucas, which is really, really cool. Yeah. But it's not the way you draw it.
Yeah. It's kind of there. Like, he took some of my art and has captured a bit of it. But I just wanted to, there's just a little slight difference to that.
Right.
But it also means that Brian could easily, if I ever had to, it was incapacitated for a few pages, he could come in and he could draw it, and it would match pretty good.
Right. Especially once he sees you, like if you saw this page, he could do the next 2 pages pretty easily. Now that he knows.
Yeah, he would like, oh, that's how he's drawn. But I definitely want to. I've got some stuff I'm working on. I kind of want to give Brian to have him be the artist for it.
Yeah. Well, are you creating new art for the RPG?
I am. Yeah.
Nice.
So new art for the RPG, which that's working out. We're working on where we're going to release that, like what company we're going to be working with and all that kind of stuff. And so.
Remember, we still David still owes you some art at some point.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this digitally, and I still try to do it old school, where I actually draw all of the lines. I think I want this framed in black.
Yeah.
I think visually that will make this really creepy face stand out.
We'd have to look at it, but and we're going to talk shop here for a minute, guys, so I apologize. But you know what could be cool is when we do the Lucas scenes, when Bishop Lucas is involved.
Yeah.
Hold on. Get rid of white pages and do black.
Oh, do the backgrounds, like the borders in black?
Yeah, the borders are black when it's his, and then when it's RJ's and stuff, it's white.
I'm fully on board with that.
Yeah, I think we'd have to see it at, like as a complete like book, looking at it and see how it feels.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
but I'm fully
I
on board
found
with
that
it.
some ideas are good on paper and not really good in practice.
Yeah. But we will work with the colorist to figure that out.
Yeah. You might want to draw. I don't know why you didn't the fire in the background behind that.
Yeah, I'm going to draw that in there.
Yeah. This one actually, I'm looking at the script right now. I'm actually going to have to go in and change a lot of dialogue because so sometimes when you're writing a script, you know, talking to people who are looking to this to learn, I write like so. The first 4 panels, I wrote Bishop continues to chant and spit whiskey out of his mouth. Now and then, even fire causing bursts of flames. He steps over 2 of the men, to the 2 of them, which is the 2 people he's drawing now, and is skinny over the 2 of them, and his movement is skinny and snake-like. Skinny and snake-like. I don't know what I wrote there, but I'm not reading the edited version, so that's probably why. So like this is a chant. So now when I go in, I have some dialogue, but it's a long form of dialogue. So now I'm going to go in and put dialogue where it's needed in this. And then we have sound effects that's going to play through this as well. You know, what's unique about this project compared to other projects, which I find that Luke and I wanted to tackle some things that were quite interesting. So, for instance, there's going to be some translation into Brazil, which is I can't think of the name in Portuguese. There's going to be there's going to be a lot of sound effects and a lot of things that we'll be doing throughout it. And even our colorist, you know, we want a certain style for the colorist. So each level of it, there's not anything where we could take it easy on any of the parts of the production of this. The script had to be super tight because of what the plot required. The pencils and inks and layouts need to be really tight, and you know, the color and lettering is a lot more difficult than a normal project.
It's almost like we hate ourselves.
Right. It's almost like we care about our craft.
Yeah.
We don't. We want to make sure that's clear for anybody watching this. We don't,
Yeah,
but almost.
we don't really care. We're just kind of winging this thing.
Hold on, I'm going to get the kid. He seems to be a little upset. He'll say hi to you.
That's fine.
Come on, bud. All right, I have returned.
Hello, hello.
This is my son, for those. See? Luke is drawing a comic book for us. Comic books are cool. So do we have anybody who has any questions? I don't know who's watching this.
We got a few people still watching.
Cool. Yeah, that's the one thing I can't see, because if I bring up that, it'll play the sound.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a few people still watching.
So let's hear some questions. It is really cool. Hey, Rick, I got to tell you, man, that image is super special. He's got the original pencils, or does he have
the original? He got the original ink that I did, the very first live draw.
Yeah,
and it was the second picture of Bishop Lucas that I had ever drawn.
Yeah. And really, where you figured him out too, because I think he was the movements are a little different, and I think that's the first one with the tattoo, right?
Yep.
So Rick, based on a conversation yesterday, that tattoo becomes extra important.
I'm trying to brag, but it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. I don't even think you're gonna really fully see it this issue.
No.
I don't think he stands up in a position where you'd see it really well. I think you see little parts of it periodically, but I don't think you ever see the full thing in this issue.
Yeah, I might have one scene where it's going to be a little more clear than the others, but yes, those are my thoughts exactly.
Yeah, you're not a big fan of that tattoo?
Now, are these two people the same people on the bottom panels?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it looks like he's only talking to one, which is fine, but you want to show the other one,
Yeah, I'm putting them in
or
here.
you could switch it if you wanted to. You could have you could have a different person on each of the bottom panels if you wanted to.
Yeah.
He could talk to
them over here.
What's that?
That's okay. I'm putting another person back here in the back.
But yeah, if you wanted to on those bottom panels, you could have him switch from one to the other. It wouldn't change plot wise. It wouldn't affect anything.
We have been drawing for a little over an hour, and so yeah, I was right. This is going to be a pencil only day. So, but that's okay. We'll get the inks in.
Anything we can cut from the final story that you wish you didn't have to? We didn't cut anything actually. No, this script came together perfectly. It kind of could have used. I don't know. It's a weird thing. The pacing of this book is really, really perfect. it feels like you want a couple of extra pages, but I think an extra couple of pages would have ruined what we were trying to do. You know, so no. For this particular issue, not so much. For the next issue, yeah, I've already cut out a whole scene that I loved. So next issue, absolutely. But for this issue, not so much.
That's what you get to do. That's what you do when you make your own books.
Right. You know, even the feedback that Luke had from the original script, it was minor changes, and then the changes from the editor were even more minor. They were actually more, hey, make sure this is clear. Were more than changes. They were like, hey, if you're going to do this, make sure it's clear because of X, Y, and Z. So we got pretty lucky in that regard. In the pacing of this book is perfect. I'm not trying to brag. Like, I feel that this is the best pacing I've ever done, because it's a suspense book, and it gets crazier and crazier and crazier, and then, you know, kind of ends you on a what just happened.
Why did that just happen?
Right. And it ends, and it fits a really cool timeline. You know, for those in the religious community of Lent and Easter and what all those means. So it follows a really, really deep timeline. If you get the deeper meanings of this book, you're gonna really love it.
Yeah, you're gonna be very surprised. And also, our editor is a theological, like, he's a doctor. Like,
right.
Yeah, he's a theological doctor. So it's like, we are not sleeping on this. We're not. This is not a slouched kind of story. It's smart. It's entertaining. It's creepy, a little scary. It's not like, I mean, it's got a little bit of everything in it, and I'm pretty happy with it.
It's really more of a horror than a suspense. I think this issue feels good, but it's gonna go in the horror realm really quick.
Oh yeah.
Want a piece of chicken?
Yes.
It's not that good. It's refried from the other day. It's leftover Publix fried chicken from the other day.
Dude, Publix fried chicken's awesome.
It is awesome. It's just not great, you know, 2 days later.
Anyone that is watching that's not from Florida will not understand. Publix fried chicken.
Right. You don't want to shop at Publix because it's expensive, but getting their fried chicken or their subs is a mandatory.
Oh yeah.
And they're buy one, get one. So you want to visit there once a week if you can for the buy one, get ones. But other than that, you probably don't want to shop there because it's more expensive.
Snaggletooth here.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be super surprised when they open the book and see the Snaggletooth, because I don't think any of our covers are going to have that.
No, unless you've watched this, right? You won't know that he's a Snaggletooth.
And it's not his fault. It's just they don't have a lot of great dentists out in in Brazil, so it's not his fault.
No, but I thought, everyone would think like these nice big white shiny teeth, and I'm thinking, nah, this dude's
right.
This dude's dirty.
Joker can keep those nice teeth.
Yeah. My thought is this dude's dirty.
You were so close to getting down. I see. I know. Hey, we're on a live video. You can't cry.
No, Dad, you don't understand. Live video doesn't matter. I can cry. Right.
He's currently running around. I got to shut some doors. Hold on.
That makes sense.
I'm going to try to stick with you just because, you know, it's going to be a little shorter. You're probably done in like 20 minutes or so.
Yep. Yep. I will make this second panel a little different than the first one here.
Yeah.
These two, but for the most part, they will be very similar for the story purposes.
Now, would you, just as a craft person, if it was the exact same panel where you just had to change the eyes, would you clone it over because you're digital?
I could, and I might do that for the pencil.
Yeah.
But I would not do that for the ink.
Okay.
Yeah. So, again, because, you know, I didn't want to be, you know, for some reason, I'm a stickler with, I was not one of those people that made the transition to digital very easily.
Right.
I was always thinking about, you know, the right way to do it, you know, the right way to draw. You know, and if I'm drawing on paper, I'm probably not going to be able to do those like clones and things like that. So I have to redraw that panel. And so part of me is like still wants to follow those rules slavishly, even though I don't have to.
But I've seen people who were doing old school pencil where they would print it up. They would make a copy of it on their photocopy and paste it on. And I've seen that. I've seen that in like back in the day when I used to buy original art. You'd kind of look for that.
Yeah. I'm sure they do.
What are you doing? Where do you even find all this stuff? He's coming here with giving me he's giving me Parallels, which is live on Kickstarter.
Nice.
As you can see, I got the issue 1 right here. Cool.
Hybrids, the first full arc is now in demand on Indiegogo.
Nice. And that ships, I got to tell you, someone who ordered it, you know, you get a lot of really cool stuff with it. You know, you don't get all the cool stuff that you did because you didn't back the Kickstarter or whatever, but there's some cool stuff that you do get, from trading cards to stickers, all sorts of really cool stuff. Does a coloring book come with everybody's?
Not with the Indiegogo, no. But you can add that on in the Indiegogo.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the coloring book was just for everybody that backed the Kickstarter.
Nice.
I do throw a couple of other little extras in there. There's a silicone wristband that I throw in with one of those.
Yeah. I got one on my hand and I wore it for a few days, and I took it off and I still feel the weight of it on my arm.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing. That just means it was good quality.
Yeah. I just don't like wearing stuff on my wrists. I always wanted to get a what do you call that?
Watch.
An Apple Watch, but
So for those who are watching, it's we're wrapping up. You know, we're finishing up the last little bits. You know, we got 2 more panels to go. So if you guys have any questions, now is the time. And it doesn't have to be about Voodoo Nations, though we prefer it be. But it could be about hybrids. It could be about Broke Down. It could be about art. You know, art in general, writing in general. Any questions you have, let's do it. My 2-year-old neighbor nabbed the bracelet I got with hybrids. Well, Rick, if you go to the Indiegogo and you get yourself an alt cover, if you don't have them all, you know, you can get another one.
Yeah, I think Rick might have everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Rick might be. He might be hooked up with the whole thing. If there's something that you want, Rick, you just get a hold of me and we'll work it out. We'll get you something. I think I want to do. So I'm going to do this thing on this pencil here, so you kind of know what I'm doing. I am going to leave. I'm not going to darken in some of these areas. I'm actually going to leave it white, so that we can add some weird color stuff to it, and so it almost looks like a floating head. Does that make sense? I think it would look cool that way. I think that would look really cool, with almost like this kind of almost disembodied look to it.
Right. or coming out of like the smoke of the fire. There's all sorts of stuff we
Yeah,
could
all kinds of stuff we can do with that. But I think it would be very creepy, and I think it would fit. Be a nice contrast from the being in total black on the other ones.
Right. Very much. Wearing my hybrid hat. Nice, Rick. Nice.
I'm actually wearing my Paul Reed Smith hat.
So Rick, did you back hybrids? Hey, I'm watching him. He's right here.
Are you on a call?
Yeah, I'm on a live phone. What's up? I can mute. Hold on 1 second. It's kind of been a problem. All right, I'll be back. I got some stuff I got to do real quick, Luke.
All right. So yeah, we are nearly done. Oh yeah, Rick, I definitely want to play the hybrids. I have played the first run through of that, and we are going to be sending out PDFs to anyone who backed the Kickstarter here soon. As soon as I get the PDF of the quick play done, and so I had hoped to have it done by the end of May, but here we are in June, and it will be done soon. I just got a couple other things that kind of the jobs I have to wrap up. As soon as I wrap those up, though, we will get those out to everyone so you can do the quick play. And Nick currently right now is working on the rest of the game, and so we've got a lot of cool stuff coming out, and it's going to be really neat. Super awesome, dude. Super awesome. And so we did the quick play. We had it was me and Brian K. Morris was a part of that, and dude, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And I'm not just saying that because it's had my had my IP attached to it. It was just fun. Thinking about the inks as I do the pencils. That's how we save some time. Probably won't do that on the inks. I don't know. I might wind up doing that on the inks just to save some time because time is of the essence when you're drawing as many comics as I am right now. But He's a little cockeyed on that one. I think I'll change his expression just a little bit. Do some work here. He does. Yeah, he does look like Willem Dafoe. So I told you that first night when I was drawing him that like he's kind of Willem Dafoe is in my mind when I think of this character. If someone was ever going to play Bishop Lucas in my brain, the only person that could do it would be Willem Dafoe. With a nice set of false teeth. Okay, that's kind of cool. All right, well, I think that we have the pencils done for today. We've been at this for an hour and 28 minutes. And so if you kind of get the idea, it's going to take me probably about at least another hour and a half to 2 hours to ink this page. And so we'll be able to do that next week. I'll save this page for then. And so you'll be able to, so if you get the idea how that production time takes, I can finish on a good day, probably about 2 or 3 pages if I have enough time. So this would be an hour and a half, 2 hours, so 3-4 hours on this one. If I get 8 hours a day, I can do 2 pages a day, do that 5 days a week, which that doesn't really happen ever. You're looking at about 10 pages a day, 10 pages a week that I can crank out if all works as planned. So, but yeah, here is the pencil for page 13 of Voodoo Nations #1. And thanks, Rick. I'm glad that you think it looks good. And we will be inking this one next week. So part 2 of this will happen next week where I ink this page. And then after that, we will start taking additional requests for different things to be drawn and things like that. So, all right. Well, thanks so much for joining today. And don't forget to, if you're not already over on YouTube, it definitely is a better viewing experience over there, and you can watch that back later. So go to youtube.com, check out Luke Stone Studios. You can find my live draws and a bunch of other videos that I have up there. And so everything goes to YouTube. So make sure to hit like, subscribe there, and get that little bell notification. And I'll continue to do Facebook live each week and also YouTube, but definitely trying to migrate more over towards the YouTube because it's a bit more stable and it's easier to get to stay noticed in the algorithms. Facebook seems to be having a little bit of trouble with that. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining me today. And I look forward to hanging out with you guys again next week. God bless.